Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know I'm pretty backed up when it comes to restoration projects. Well, my buddy Nick contacted me not that long ago and he's like, hey, once the weather starts getting nicer in Arizona, why don't I just come down and I'll help you get a jump start in some of these projects. And he just came here. We had an awesome 4 days and we basically converted the Simpsons to an X-Men. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the Simpsons because I'm not a huge fan, but it's in a Konami cabinet and I was like, man, I really want an X-Men, and so he goes, why don't we just convert it to an X-Men while I'm there? So that was one of the projects, and the other project was actually converting, or not converting, but restoring the Roadblasters cabinet. I'll show you a little bit of where I'm at with that, but the main focus of this video is gonna be how we converted the Simpsons to an X-Men. Now, it's not fully complete yet. I have to get the control panel in place, but it looks so good. So Nick came, we had an awesome time. We evaluated the cabinet. We had to do some Bondo work to it, strip the artwork off, really clean it up. Then once it was in a good condition physically, we were able to put the artwork on. Now I ordered the artwork from Escape Pod, and this was like a quick turnaround. I asked Escape Pod, I'm like, hey man, can you guys rush this thing? Because we weren't initially gonna do it as a X-Men cabinet. We were actually gonna make it a Simpsons and restore the Simpsons cabinet, which is what this cabinet actually is. But he goes, why don't we just make it an X-Men since that's the game you actually wanted? So we did that, and I called up Escape Pod. I'm like, hey, can you rush this? So they rushed X-Men artwork. It looks really great. So if you're looking for artwork for your restoration project, definitely go check out Escape Pod. And there is a coupon code, I think it's Retro Ralph, and you save 10%. I'll have a link in the description to the information. But yeah, so we unrolled the artwork, we took a look at it, the stuff looked good, and then we just really cranked through a bunch of projects. And when I tell you, we were working nonstop. We'd get up, we'd have a quick breakfast, we'd get back to work. I was working on the Roadblasters while he was working on the Simpsons X-Men conversion. He pretty much did that whole project by himself, and then I was focused on the Roadblasters. But we did apply the artwork together. I will say, if you're applying artwork to a cabinet, it's always a good idea to have someone there to help you. And you should always clamp it down to make sure that it doesn't move, but it is kind of difficult to put on artwork yourself in the conditions we were trying to put it in on because the wind kicked up. And that's the last thing you want, is the wind to kick up and move your artwork once you have it down. But we were able to kind of navigate around that because we were working together. But I can't tell you how much fun I had. It was like a total, if you want to call it a brocation, I mean, it was literally nonstop working on arcades. His flight got cut short on the way out because of some delays, so really we had about 2 full days to work on it. But we also got a chance to go check out a couple places in town that I haven't even been to before. One is Electric Bat Arcade. They've got pinballs and arcades. It's a really cool scene there. It's like it reminds me of like a 90s grunge scene. It's really cool. And apparently they're doing an expansion coming up not that soon, so I'll have to go down there and do a full video on Electric Bat. And we also went and checked out Danger Zone, which is, Danger Zone's like it's like a brewery and a barcade kind of put together, because they brew beers, they have their own beer there, but then they also have the arcade section, which is arcade games and pinballs, and it's actually in the brewery itself. You see the big, I don't know what you call those things, the big silver brew things, I don't know what those are called, but that place was awesome, and all of their pinball machines were like limited edition Stern machines, or limited editions from whatever company it was. Like, I don't know, they're not all called limited editions, but like Jersey Jack and Spooky, it's all their top of the line stuff. So that was really cool. But yeah, overall, we just had an awesome time, and I hope we get to do it, at least annually, because it was super fun. We just really sat here all day long and just worked on arcade stuff, but at night we'd cut out and go to different places. I also took them to Level 1, which is I don't have any footage from that, unfortunately, but that's a cool pinball arcade, but they have a bar and they also have arcade games too. But overall, the trip was awesome. The X-Men turned out amazing. The only thing we're not done with yet is the control panel. I was gonna Bondo the original control panel, but there's a couple of people that do original like replacement reproduction control panels, so I'm just gonna do that. So I have one of those coming, and then I'll put the artwork on. So outside of that, the cabinet's great, and I took out the Simpsons board, and so it has the X-Men board in it and TMNT. So there's a switcher in the front, and you can switch between X-Men and TMNT. I thought those were they're like 2 of my favorite games. The only one I'd like to put in there, it'd be cool to have Turtles in Time in there too, That's probably my favorite of the two, although I'm more nostalgic for the first one for whatever reason. But anyways, I will have a more in-depth video and a full video of an overview of the X-Men cabinet once I get the control panel finished, but Nick did an awesome job. He primarily focused 100% of his time on that, and I was really focused on the Roadblasters Cockpit restoration. Now, just a quick update on that because I'll have a full video on it later on. That cockpit, unfortunately, is going to Captain's Auctions. I'm excited that it's going to Captain's Auctions. It looks great. Believe me, I want to keep it. It pains me to have to get rid of it. I hope it goes for a decent amount at Captain's and it goes to a good home. I think whoever gets it's going to be super stoked because this thing is in really good condition. So that should make its way into the December Captain's Auction. I actually called up Chris and I said, hey, if I get it there on time, can you squeeze it into the December auction? And he said, as long as I can get it there by next week, which they're coming to pick it up tomorrow, believe it or not. So yeah, I'm gonna be on the hunt for another Roadblasters because I'm a bonehead, but I want to stand up. I shouldn't have got rid of the stand up in the first place, but man, it looks so good. I'd call it like a 90% restoration. It's almost all done. There are a couple things we could have done with the side panels, but decided to leave them alone. But everything else has been replaced. The artwork, I painted the yoke. I put new artwork on the yoke. I put new artwork on the bezel that goes around the monitor. I cleaned up the magnifying lens that it has. So it's in really good shape. It has a diamond plate floor. It's pretty cool. So someone's gonna be really excited when they get that and put that into their game room or on location at a bar because the coin mechanisms all work. So it could be either coin op or free play. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, put your comments below. I want to hear from you. I wish we called this trip Arcade 911. I can't think of a better person to do an actual show with. It would be so cool if we could go on location to people's houses, evaluate their arcade machines and fix them and bring them back to life. Oh my gosh, that would be an absolute dream. But hey, you know, I realize that would be really difficult to do and we'd have to get paid and support our families at the same time. I don't know how we would possibly do that, but it would be pretty awesome. It'd be pretty awesome. Maybe we can do like a special where we go pick out a couple people and we go do it at some point, I don't know, between life and everything else. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, why don't you check out another? And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.